That's about all the more that they were wanting out of it. On the bye-bye. Hello guys, and welcome back. So today on the channel we're going to be putting together a manger for the children's Christmas play at the church, and I told him I'm going to try to get it done and get it there in time. I should have more than enough time, and so I'm going to scrounge up some of the older wood that I have and kind of use the more rough cut and aged looking wood that I have and use it for this project. So this wood that I've acquired came from an old schoolhouse that was up north of here, and the siding was this old tongue and groove siding, and I was able to get some of the 2x4s out of there, the true 2x4s. So this is going to make it look like it was supposed to be made out of this material. The tongue and groove, I'm going to rip this down, rip these to where I have about that much material left. Basically making slats out of it and making crossed X's basically for the ends, and a cross member for the two out of the 2x4s. So let's go ahead and jump right onto it and start making the end sections and the cross member. All right, so I'm going to use my miter saw and cut these 4 pieces at 45 degrees, and then we'll have to do some special cuts after that. I went ahead and cut the cross member at 18 inches. That's about all the more that they were wanting out of it. On the bye-bye. And they weren't wanting it very deep, so that's what we're going to be doing. And I cut these with the 45 and on both sides facing the same direction. And I made these 24 inches from heel to toe on the cuts. And now what I'm going to do, cross them over like this. But I'm not going to do it just like this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make multiple cuts at that angle, wide enough for the next piece to slide in. I'll probably end up temporarily screwing it until I can get the cross member lag bolted in. That way I have a solid connection there. So on to the half cut here. So I said I'm going to be only going half the depth here. That way they can just slide into place and basically lock into place. So now on to that. You can also accomplish the depth cut by setting your miter saw back here wherever the setting may be. This Chicago Electric one from Harbor Freight happens to be back here. So you can also set it to the depth that you want it to be. Alright, now to bust all these out. You just simply take something down in there. It could be a flathead screwdriver, a chisel, whatever it may be. And then, voila. And then what you can do is go through and clean it out with a chisel. And it appears I didn't go all the way through on one side, so I'll have to correct that. So, this one I had to actually use the miter saw on. So, just simply cleaning this up now. Now there is another easier way of doing this, but I don't recommend it because it's not as safe. And it's just simply running your miter saw through and running your piece through, and while sliding this back a little bit, slide it through until it trims it all out. Now, I want to have to adjust it for this one and another one, but they can come out like this, rather smooth and not terribly bad. So that is an option. All right, so now I gotta make sure that these are right ends, same sides matching. That one, and now I gotta do it one more time.
Whoa!
Oh.
Daddy, that's an egg.
Yeah. So, messed it up. The angle. Didn't realize I was vibrating it down. So, here it is. And it is pretty daggum tight. I didn't get the exact center, exact depth. I'm edged down. I'm a little bit down here, but that's fine. But it is freaking tight. So now I gotta do this one more time, and heck, I don't think I'm even gonna have to do temp screws. Just lag bolt straight on through. So do that. Go ahead and do the other one real quick, and I'll get set up with the cross member. All right. So here next, we're gonna go ahead and run our holes through the middle of these two joints and run our little pilot hole, our smaller pilot hole through this cross member. Now, when you're dealing with lag bolts, which is what I'll be using, the piece that you're passing through, or pieces that you're passing through, run with a bigger bit. And then the piece that you're going into, run with a smaller one, just to where it's smaller than the threads. Way I try to do it is size it to where it's the same size as the core of the lag bolt. That way you know that you will be getting the grip off it. And the reason for the pass-through one like this is that you're not going to be grabbing onto a piece that you don't want it to be grabbing on. So let's go ahead and get her done. So now to install the cross member. Alright, so there's this. Now, onto the side rails and ripping down those boards. Alright, so now, since we got it all assembled, we got all of our pieces cut down and ready to move on to getting them mounted, the slats mounted on at least two sides, and we'll, on these ends, we'll go ahead and at least do one across the top, and we may do a partial in the middle, and I don't see a need for putting one down at the bottom. So, we're going to go ahead and move on to the sides and get her going. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and catch, like I said, at least two. I'm going to catch two on each side. The top one in the middle one, and that should do me just fine. Now, I'm going to use my bandsaw for these cuts because it's going to be kind of a strange cuts on the miter saw. So all I'm going to do is kind of get this up there about where I want it, and then mark the back side here. There's one. Alright, so now I'm going to copy it for the other side. Alright, now the final touch. Alright, here it is. Now, turned out fairly decent. It's a little bit, turned out a little bit wider at the top than I anticipated, across the top here. But it's gonna work out pretty good. Probably should have trimmed it down a little bit farther to where I only had to use 2 slats on the sides instead of 3. But it will do the job. So, heck, it's it'll hold my weight, and I'm not exactly light either. So, I don't think it'll be able to hold a small child easily. Heck, if we had a little baby, I'd trust it. I think we can trust it to hold a little dummy baby. Alright, so I hope that this inspires people, or inspires you to, if you want to, you can work with, don't forget, you can always work with minimal tools. What I have isn't, I know, I don't even know where the line would be drawn for a professional shop, but I don't think I'm anywhere near a professional shop, because I lack a lot of knowledge and on professional stuff, on how to do certain joints and how to fine tune stuff like that. So, but if you got a minimal amount of tools, remember, you can always make something. Now, if you're on Facebook much, you can check out the Facebook page for the channel, Backyard Hobbies. And If you're on TikTok at all, you can check out my personal channel at Eli_Hirsch. On both of those sites, I post little videos, 1 to 5 minute videos. If you want to go check those out, you can. And on Facebook, I post stuff throughout the week. If I'm going to be working on a project, I'll end up posting questions there on potentially on what you guys would want to see on the channel. Now, I do knife reviews on this channel as well. If you've been around the channel much, you know I do knife reviews. I got a playlist for it. I've got playlists for woodworking, leather work, magnet fishing. I do a lot of different stuff on this channel, so I got playlists for all of it. If you want to go ahead and go check those out. And the knife reviews is when I'll be asking questions mainly about what I want to see and so on. So I'm going to go ahead and go on to the video verse. All right, so the video verse, we are still in Hebrews, and it is chapters 2, verses 13 through 18. And it says, "Again, I will trust in him, and again, here I am with the children God gave me. Now since the children have flesh and blood in common, Jesus also shared in these, so that through his death he might destroy the one holding the power of death, that is, the devil, and free those who were held in slavery all their lives by the fear of death. For it is clear that he does not reach out to help angels, but to help Abraham's offspring. Therefore he had to be like his brothers and sisters in every way, so that he could become a merciful and faithful high priest in matters pertaining to God, to make atonement for the sins of the people. For since he himself has suffered when he was tempted, he is able to help those who are tempted." And that is, again, Hebrews chapter 2, verses 13 through 18. And I'll see you guys in the next one.